Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very first reading for 2023. Thank you for being here. Welcome back if you are returning. Welcome if this is your first time tuning into these videos. I am Charlotte Alea Dovechild, and I'm an intuitive guide and priestess for Mother Earth. And here I channel readings through the tarot cards for those of us who are on an evolutionary path of devotional love and service to our planet. I channel a message from Mother Earth for us to guide us through whatever energies, earthly, cosmically, that we are moving through that will be in service to our evolution and to our destinies. So today we have a special reading because we're going to do the usual 4 cards of this current moon cycle. We are coming right into the full moon in Cancer, which is the last lunar cycle, or last lunar revolution in this lunar cycle. So the Lunar New Year actually begins on the 21st of this month with the new moon in Aquarius. So we are still completing a whole 12-month cycle right now, as well as after I go through what is present right now in this next week or two. I drew a few cards for this coming year. So the themes, what we can expect, energies that we can expect this coming year in 2023. A little peek inside what is to come and what we can expect. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about the numerology of this year, 2023, which is a 7-year. So that's going to be second. First, let's jump into the energies that are present right now. So I read from the Tarot of the Spirit tarot deck by Pamela and Joyce Eakins. And I draw 4 cards. The first is the lesson, the second is the shadow, the third is the gift, and the fourth is the wild card. So let's dive right into what is happening right now. So this day, if you're watching this on the new moon, that is the 6th of January. And this day it's pretty amazing that it has lined up the way that it has, because the 6th of January is the completion of this 13-day window that started on the winter solstice on December 21st. That is sort of like time out of time, where everything kind of comes to this stop and there's this stillness, and we get this window into what is occurring, the energies that are occurring sort of beyond time. And there is a light that has been building and culminating within us. So if you watched my last transmission, I talked a lot about birthing the new light within us, right? And so the 6 is basically, and I had this whole metaphor of like we're birthing the light like our new baby, right? And so on the 6th is this day, it's called Epiphany. And this goes back ancient times. So it is known within Christianity, but it is pre-Christianity. It's even, I think, pre-Judaism. That it is basically the baby naming day. It's so the day when the light within us like starts to be known to us, that we start to be able to name it, describe it. It begins to form a self, an identity within us. So what that means for us on this day, this new moon, you might very well receive like a big aha moment, or like a big light bulb going off in your head of like, oh, like clarity coming through, something that has been murky for a while, that you've been like feeling the edges of and seeing sort of the whole kind of picture, but not seeing the details of yet. It's going to be like, boom, oh. So clear space, at least today on the 6th. If you're watching this either on the 5th or 6th, clear space today to make room for that moment to come through. And very well might, if you're not able to have the space for it, or if you're just not in the right mood, because sometimes our emotions just don't let us have that space, then it will be stored within you, right? So it's not like you're going to miss the chance. And it will come through your dreams or in another moment in the next several days. Okay, so I wanted to talk about that, and that leads us right into our first energy that we're going to talk about for this lunar cycle, which is the Hierophant. The Hierophant. So this is number 5 in the major arcana, and the Hierophant is really our inner guide. The Hierophant represents our highest self, the part of us that is eternal and is not separated in any way, which is a fractal of the greater creator, right, of the whole universe, the greater creative force, source, the universe, God, whatever word that you have, goddess, whatever word that you use to describe that kind of greater force. The Hierophant is that aspect of us that is never disconnected from that universal source of wisdom that is out there. So in this way, the Hierophant is also our teacher. The Hierophant is also our inner teacher. And what I have been receiving, and I've been hearing this for actually several days now, is that there is a lot coming through that wants to come through right now from our own soul's voice, from our own inner teacher. And that we have an opportunity to create space for that right now, to receive a lot of information around our soul's path, around our destiny, around our karma, where that karma came from, where those patterns emerged from, why we're here. These like big kind of life stuff. There's a window that is open right now for us to listen and receive that. So the Hierophant is number 5. And number 5 represents the 5th element. So we have air, fire, water, earth, right, as the 4 kind of earth elements. And then we have ether, which is the 5th element, which is the invisible. It is the unseen realm. It is the spirit realm, which is a slightly behind a veil, but is actually much closer than most of us know or believe that it and see that it is. So because this energy exists that is coming through this 5th element, it's still in the ethers and it doesn't have a form yet. It hasn't manifested into something where we're feeling the passion of it, or through the water element where we are moving and swaying with the emotions of this, or in the earth element where we're ready to take like concrete actions towards this, right? It's sort of just like right up here. It's hanging out there and it's trickling down and it's hanging out kind of up here. And that is where it's meant to be right now. So in these 4 cards, I'm getting a full picture of how do we attune ourselves to really open to receive and hear the messages that want to come through our highest self, as well as what is the point of it? Like why? Like what do we do with this information? So let's move into all of that next. Okay, so we have now as our shadow 2 of Earth, and we have seen this card before in one of the previous months. I can't remember if it was October or November. We actually have 2 2s. We have been seeing so many 2s the past few months, haven't we? There's been 2s all over the place. So that's something interesting. So we're going to get into this card next, but let's talk about our shadow, which is 2 of Earth, cause and effect. And these 2 words really say so much to us right now. So, if you follow astrology, you may know that we are in Mercury retrograde right now, and we're going to be here for another few weeks. And I believe also, please don't quote me on this. I think it's Mars in retrograde as well. I'm pretty sure it's Mars. So, yeah, maybe I should have looked that up before I recorded this. Anyway, that we have a lot of this retrograde energy, which is leading us, especially with Mercury, to reevaluate things rather than moving forward with things. And that energy is going to be with us, I think, until about the new moon in Aquarius, actually. So I've been listening to astrologers talk about this the last few days, and I've been noticing that a lot of people have been saying, don't set intentions yet. Don't come up with any New Year's resolutions because we don't have all the information yet. And I've been like, okay, why does that feel really different to me? Because to be honest, I have been in this huge, just visionary and divinatory, is that a word? Divinatory space where I've been really tuning into the energies that want to come through for next year, what energy I want to focus on, what energies I want to manifest in my life. Like, I've been really tuning into that. So this is where I have landed with this. And this card today, it has given me two distinct messages. So the first one is that if you watched my previous two messages, you will have remembered that I talked a lot about slowing down, going into stillness, and resting, right? So for those of us who did not do that and who went through the holiday season these past few weeks and just working, or socializing, or caring for everybody around you, and like didn't get that time to stop and be in stillness, this is where it catches up with you. So cause and effect, every action has a result. And for those of you who have not had the chance to really stop and reflect on this last year and the patterns that played out that were positive, the ones that played out that were negative, what you learned through all of the experiences, positive, negative, in this last whole lunar cycle of the last 12 months, this is your time to do that. And so I'm recognizing when I was tuning in also that for me, so I did slow down, right? I heeded my own advice. I stopped. I did some personal and some client readings, and I went to a couple family and social events. But in general, I really cleared my schedule and I really went into stillness. So I already have done most of the reevaluation of this past year. So for someone like me, and if you are like me and watching this, for us, we can begin to really receive the seeds of the coming year right now, right? We've already done our evaluation. But for those of you who thrive on action and like to keep busy, like to keep moving, I know that for you, it can be really hard to heed the advice, heed the message coming through around you and within you to slow down and to stop. And for you, it very well may be that this has to kind of play out where your body like gives up and gives in, and it kind of doesn't give you a choice. Like, you have to stop. So either by getting sick or by hurting yourself, something happens where you literally have to stop. So I want to honor that this is playing out for some of us who don't like stopping. You know, sometimes we have to be forced to stop. And if you are watching this and you're like, Charlotte, I can't stop. I am responsible for keeping too much moving all the time, then my message to you would be to look at what systems have you put in place in your life that prevents you from stopping? And do you want to continue that way, or do you want to make that change for yourself of changing and creating space for yourself to rest and stop in the coming year, right? That might be a focus for you in the coming year. Because cause and effect, actions have consequences. Basically, that this is like a universal law of not just the universe, but here on planet Earth. So here's the second message that I'm getting from this card. Because for those of us who are beginning to move into that visionary place of getting the seeds and feeling into what our intentions are for this coming year, we're getting information, but we're not ready to move ahead on any of that. And we might be asking ourselves, you know what? I feel just kind of, since energy isn't moving forward, I feel like kind of stuck. Like, what do I even do? Like, how do I even tune into this Hierophant voice, my inner guide, my inner teacher? How do I even do that? So this message came through very clearly for me early this morning after I woke up from a dream. And it said, don't expect different results by repeating the same actions. So I'm just going to repeat that one more time. Don't expect different results by repeating the same actions. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, that does make logical sense. And yet, where are we getting ourselves stuck in the groove of our regular routines, where we may start to feel a little bored in all this stillness of the past, 6 weeks, So here's what I'm getting as a beautiful message for us, that we get to right now shake up our routines and open ourselves to new experiences in small daily ways, small approachable ways. So this is not about like, all right, I am starting my new exercise routine that I'm going to keep for the whole year, right? Or I'm going to start writing my book. It's got to start, today, right? This isn't about like long-term projects. This is about surprising yourself with a shift in your routine. And we do this in order to gain new inspiration and insight, because when we get out of our routine, we are shifting our mind and our mindset, and we're raising our vibration that creates the space for our inner teacher and our voice to come through. So some examples of this might be, maybe like you take a walk every morning and you take a different route. Maybe there's some place that you get coffee from every morning and you decide to go somewhere else to get that. Maybe it's even just a new route to get to work. Maybe it is creating a new playlist for yourself with a totally different type of music than you ever listened to. Maybe it is trying out a new recipe. Maybe it is, here's a good one. Instead of watching the shows that you always watch in the evening, picking up that book that has been sitting on your shelf or on your table for months that you still haven't read. Maybe it's if you're in a social situation and there are situations where you don't usually talk about a certain topic, or you don't usually speak up about something. You speak up. You shift that energy for yourself. So this is really around shifting your energy and in ways that are surprising and new. And guess where that leads? It leads to your inner teacher and your inner guide surprising you with new insight, new thoughts, new ideas, clarity, realization. So that is how we can really open that channel for ourselves. Okay, so that's we're going to move on to, that's our shadow, and we're going to move on to the gift, which is the other two I held up before, Two of Wind. This energy is all about paradox. Paradox. All right, what is your reaction when you hear that word? Does it excite you? Like it excites me? Like I'm really into that word. I don't even know why. I just, whenever anyone says the word paradox, I'm like, ooh, yes, say more. Paradox. And we can see this, right? Two swords crossing together and creating this beautiful diamond shape within a circle. I don't know why that portrays paradox, because paradox is it's the space of the unexplainable, right? It is the sense of knowing and not being able to describe. This is the one sentence message that came through this card. The more you learn, the less you know. The more you learn, the less you know. So this energy is our gift. So some of you might be like, "Gah!" And so part of my invitation for all of us who are watching this is to just sit and contemplate, how is this a gift? It is no mistake that this came up in this position in this reading. I feel like this energy often plays out like when we get these so we open the space and we're getting insight from our higher self. There's clarity coming through and we're like, yes, that's it. That makes so much sense. Yes. Oh, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, how do I even apply that? How does that make sense? How would that even be possible in my life? Our mind gets twisted in a little knot. And our mind is getting twisted in a knot on purpose. This is the energy of what your heart knows to be true and what your mind is just confounded by, right? I think it can happen because we're opening to these great potential and promises of our destiny. And because this energy has never played out in our life, our mind just cannot wrap itself around it. And so the danger in this is that our minds like to arrange everything that we're receiving in like a linear little row and create a plan of action and a path forward. And we can see, okay, yeah, so this is it. This is where I'm going, and this is the path, and this is what I'm going to do. And everything is all neatly organized. No, that's not happening right now. That is not happening. That's not even possible. What I am sensing is that the reason why this is such a gift for us is because it's like the gift that still has its wrapping on it and that we have to hold on to for another little while. We have to wait until the collaboration comes from, because what is coming in is in the ether element. We have to wait until it lands in our bodies down here, where it comes into our throats and we have the words to express it, where our passion is ignited and we feel motivated and we believe in it and it becomes something solid within us, right? So we have to wait until that happens, until all the energies solidify within our whole bodies, our whole elemental beings. And then we also come into collaboration with all the elements around us, the people, the beings, the energies of our home, of the land, right? We are collaborating. That is the new energy of the new earth. We do not go forward with simply our linear mind in the ways that we have known before. We wait for the right moment, for the synchronicity to occur for us. Synchronicities will occur in different ways, and I'm not going to go into that because that has everything to do with human design. I'm not going to go into it. But so the gift is we get to hold on to the gift. And here's how we play along with it. And this is what I received, is that let's play along by shifting, reversing, or replacing, flipping, that's the word I'm looking for, flipping the future with the past. So pretend that in all that you're receiving, that is about the past and you are in the future and you're looking back upon what has already manifested for you. And you're like, wow, yes, it was all possible. It all unfolded exactly as it needed to. There was a divine plan playing out, and I just needed to follow along as one of the players. How amazing! It just, how could it not have happened? How could it not have happened? It was guaranteed all along. Huh, how? And then you can even like reflect back as the current you who feels a lot of like confusion and doubt right now, just being like, oh, how sweet that she couldn't even see the whole picture, because of course she couldn't. So have that talk with your future self. Reverse your positions. Come into the position of your future self and reflect upon the past self as if it has already happened, because this is what I'm hearing from all that it comes through our highest self. This is guaranteed. All you need to do is get out of your own way. That's all we need to do. And isn't that such a relief? Okay, so let's move into the final energy for this full moon, which is our wild card. And here we have a little more shadowy energy, a little more challenging energy. We have 8 of wind. The word that came through for us for this is rigidity. All right, so let's look out for the ways that our minds want to fall into the grooves, the places that feel safe and known to us, but that are rigid and that aren't flexible and don't allow us to be and see the full picture of what is illuminating for us. So too much mental energy is going to lead us to feel stuck and bored and impatient. And this is where we have that danger of like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to create a plan. Yeah, it's time to move forward. So here's the thing though. If we do decide to bypass currents of collective and universal energies and move forward with plans that are a bit hasty, the good news is those plans will likely just collapse and fall through, and we'll end up in the same place that we are now, right? So there's not that much danger in it. It's just that the more pleasurable path, the more easy path to take is to get comfortable where we are and have, surprise ourselves and shake up our routines and to open to a fuller experience of what is unfolding for us, because things are unfolding right now. They're just unfolding like petals of a flower in a very luscious and quiet way. So we stay grounded in the body and we open our senses to experience and feel the world around us. And that doesn't even have to be going outside. It doesn't, because I know that storms are raging across the country. And, I was actually, just a side note, noticing, with all the storms going on and how all those flights were canceled over the holidays, I was thinking like, wow, this is a really big message that's coming through for all of us to slow down, to stay in place. How are we pushing ourselves in ways that Mother Earth really doesn't want us to push right now? So as we come into the body and we open our senses, the message is to be playful and to be curious, to activate our divine child. When you stay open, your inner wisdom ends up staying open as well. And here's another little tip. So if our minds do, and they probably will, Like, let's face it, our minds just like to do this. So when our minds, I'll say when, our minds start to scheme and plan and, like start creating the lists and all of that and the linear, how it's all going to play out. When our minds start to do that, we can ask ourselves, okay, mind, have I tried this before? Have I done this before? And if your mind says, yes, we actually have done this before. What was the result? How did it turn out? Ask yourself that. And if you can remember, hopefully you can remember, if it turned out as you wanted it to, or if now you actually do want different results. You want something different to happen. So that's when we can remember the same action is going to beget the same results. And so if you want something different to happen, you're going to have to change the plan. And the mind is going to be like, but what is the new plan? We don't know what the new plan is yet. And that is exactly how it's supposed to be, because we are unfolding our destiny in a very different way than how the colonial patriarchal system has taught us to. If you don't remember how things unfolded before, because maybe this is something that hasn't unfolded for a long time, you can ask your dreams as well to help illuminate this. Dreams are amazing at revealing your shadows. That's what I do often. If I feel something that isn't right in me, that's stirring, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Show me the truth of this. Boom, my dreams will show it to me immediately. So that's another source of wisdom for you right now. All right, so that wraps up this full moon. And we're going to, in a moment, shift into the energies of 2023 and what is coming through already for that. In the etheric dreaming space more, none of this has played out likely yet, though maybe for some of you it already has played out a bit. So I wanted to share also that I'm still doing individual 2023 year ahead readings for clients right now. You can still grab one off of my website. So in that reading, we do a full year ahead. So every month, there's a different energy that comes through that's going to help guide you through the full year. So this is a reading that unfolds gradually. It's not something that you have to remember and take in all at once, because honestly, when you receive a reading about what's going to happen in 8 months, do you remember it? No, you're not going to remember it. So this is a PDF guide, so you can take it out every month to see how energies are lining up. It also really helps you plan ahead. So if you know that you want to take a class, go on a trip, do those kinds of things, the energies are going to help you know what months are aligned for that. It also includes 4 cards which paint a picture of your spiritual lessons for the coming year. So what you're here to learn, what is the gift, who are you kind of evolving into those energies as well. If you don't purchase a reading from me, I still recommend you draw cards for your coming year and just save it and turn back to it. If you are somebody who, I'm guessing most of you who are watching either draw oracle cards or tarot cards, it's a wonderful way right now to tap into that energy of the Hierophant for yourself and to really see, get a bigger picture of how your soul is guiding you forward this next year. Okay, so let's first talk about the Chariot. So I didn't draw this card. I pulled it out actually because the Chariot is number 7 in the tarot. So each year has a numerology, and 2023 adds up to 7, and that is the energy of the Chariot. So 7 is an energy that is about tests and trials reevaluating something, learning, meditation. It's the energy of when we're at 6, we are like in a like we feel like we've made it. It's like, yes, this is exactly what I want. Everything is lining up perfectly. And then at 7, all of a sudden, we feel like we're back to the foundation. We're back to square one. And we're like, wait a minute. Oh, I have to learn something now. And so it's energy that can feel a bit challenging, actually. But it's also energy that really motivates us and gives us the drive to start moving forward in a new way, because it is, again, like I said, learning energy. With the tarot, so the way that I kind of conceptualize, and one of the ways I conceptualize the major arcana of the tarot is that numbers 1 to 5 is our foundation. This is sort of what we're made of. 6 through 10 is our personality and our individuation. So how we are different and unique in this world. And so in 6, last year, 2022 was a 6 year. And in that space, we were like tuning into our true desires, like what we are, where we're really being, what we really want to taste and experience in life, right? And in 7, then, we are beginning to gain some momentum to move forward. So when I was tuning into this, the metaphor that was coming through, and I hope this resonates, I don't know if it will, but the metaphor that I was receiving is like a bike. So like at 6, you get the new bike, right? The lover's card. And you're like, yay, this new beautiful bike. Oh, I've always wanted a bike. And then you get on the bike and you're like, oh, wait a minute. This is harder than it looks. And maybe riding a bike is so super easy for you and you ride it every day, so this isn't going to resonate. For me, bike riding is it's always a challenge. So, but think about the first time you rode a bike, right? So you get on the bike and you have to kind of, go forward and back a little bit, left and right to get your balance. And it's sort of that like, oh, okay, ooh, easy does it as you're starting to go. So that's chariot energy. We have the needing to balance these forces of light and dark, creation and destruction within us. And we are learning about ourselves through the actions we take in the world. So there is a forward momentum, but it's not quick, it's not swift, and it's not easy. But that doesn't mean that this energy has to feel bad, right? Because there is also a lot of fire energy behind the chariot. We feel a drive and a motivation to go. We feel a sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Determination to overcome the challenges, to get through it, to get moving, to meet those tests and challenges as we go. So what I'm really getting about this energy for us this year is to, as we are moving forward towards our goals and our desires, not to take the path and ourselves too seriously. Allow ourselves to make mistakes. Allow there to be movement going forward and then backwards and then forwards again. Allow it not to be linear. We can make it fun. This can be this can be an adventure. It can be a game, right? That we know off the bat, because we're in 7 energy, that the point right now isn't actually the destination. Even though we want to think that it is, it's not. The point is that we're learning about ourselves. So also learn to laugh at yourself. That is a message I get so often for myself personally and for clients. Laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself seriously. Be very forgiving towards yourself and be forgiving to others around you as you go, because this energy also is you engaging with the world, right? And so there might be moments where we want to blame ourselves or blame others for things not going our way. And it's all a learning opportunity. Everything we experience this year is going to be a learning opportunity. Okay, So that is 7 and the Chariot energy. And so now I have 2 cards that I did draw. I asked 2 questions, and here's my questions that I asked about 2023. The first is, what energy is going to surprise us this year? And the second energy is, what energy is going to support our greatest evolutionary growth and expansion this year? All right, so let's talk about the first one first. So this is what energy is going to surprise us this year. Boom, the devil. And when I turned this card over, I just had to laugh at myself because I feel like I walked right into it. Because the devil is trickster energy. The devil reveals to us our blind spots, sometimes in ways that are surprising and unexpected, usually in ways that are surprising and unexpected, and sometimes in ways that are rather unpleasant. Not horrible and a catastrophe, but, in ways that we wouldn't want to repeat again in the future. So sometimes when we are not paying attention to where we're going or what is happening within us and around us, this energy, trickster energy, comes in through forces external to us that we, our soul, have manifested in order to help us to see those blind spots, to see those things that we're not paying attention to, or to give us a firm push or shove into the direction that our soul wants us to go. Where am I not in alignment? Right? Where am I out of alignment that I need to get back into alignment? This energy, the message as I was tuning into the deeper layers for us for this year, it said, time's up. Time is up. There is no more procrastinating. No more procrastinating on shifting those patterns that you have known that you need to shift for a long time, and yet you have stalled yourself over and over again. Over and over again, you said, not right now, sometime in the future, I'll get to in the future. But for now, it's easier staying the way that I am. You know what? It's going to not be easy anymore. You're going to get a firm push or shove from something that's going to get you out of that pattern. So this is help. This is help for us, even though it might in the moment not feel like help. I had this really interesting trickster moment a few years ago where I was walking my dog at the park, and a coyote was stalking us, but we didn't realize the coyote was stalking us until this coyote started nipping my dog on the hind repeatedly. And it would sneak from nowhere. Like, we would run ahead and we're like, okay, we think we've lost it. And this coyote would come out again, out of hiding, and nip her butt. Poor thing, right? But it was a lesson for me. There was something that I was being really blind to, that was happening right around me that I wasn't paying attention to. And coyote, if you know anything about animal wisdom, animal guides, is a common symbol for the trickster. Okay, so let's finish with that and move to our final energy I wanted to talk about today, which is what is going to support our greatest expansive growth, our evolutionary growth and expansion this year. So what energy is going to support that? And this is really interesting. 4 of Earth. 4 of Earth. This is one of those cards that in the traditional Rider-Waite, if you have worked with that deck, I feel like it's kind of misunderstood. It's looked at in a really kind of negative perspective of like greed and and being stingy, right? So if you see this image, it's this like locked room. And how I see this is it's a storehouse. This is where we keep like all the most valuable goods. And that's why it's called power, right? Because there's a lot of power in those valuable goods that we keep stored away behind a lock that we hold the key for. So this card asks us, what is your storehouse, right? What is your inner storehouse? What is your most valuable goods that live inside you? Is it your energy? Is it your time? Is it your knowledge? Is it your physical presence and your touch? So what are those valuable goods? So so there's two messages that this card is this energy is really revealing to us for this year ahead. So one of it is a lesson of learning to truly value ourselves and what we have to offer and our gifts. So where do you currently take your energy for granted, right? Where do you actually need to hold your gifts a little bit more sacred of what you hold within you? There's a tricky process when we are working with this energy where we're learning how to balance the energies of keeping, what we value sacred and holding on to it, and then learning when to offer it and give it away. So this is a balance between, we don't want to be overgiving and thus self-sacrificing, and then we don't want to be keeping too much back and being stingy or greedy, right? So how do we come into that balance with ourselves? And I believe this energy, when we truly learn to value ourselves, our gifts, our energies, what we offer, what we have to offer to ourselves and those around us, we find that balance, because that balance is a organic flow within us, and it is actually from a place of not valuing, not acknowledging and seeing how much we have within us, that we feel like we have to hold on to it, or we do the reverse and just give it all away. So the second message that's coming through for us for this year from this card that I'm receiving is that not only is this about valuing what lives solely within us, but also what is created in collaboration or co-created with others. And maybe actually this is energy that has been gifted to you, that you hold very dear and precious to you. So this is energy that is created in relationship and in harmony with others. So here's a couple examples, because I feel like I'm talking really abstractly. So say that you are a really gifted speaker, public speaker, but what you're talking about isn't actually these brilliant new ideas that are all coming from you. It is ideas that you have learned from many teachers and thought leaders and other people, right? And so your work is really sitting on a foundation of other people's work. So how can you then learn to really truly value the foundation of your work from those other people's work and give back in some way to that, right? Here's another example. Say that every day you wake up and you do a meditation where you open to receive the energies of the earth around you, the natural forces of all the elements, or beneath you, or from the trees or forest, whatever, some kind of beautiful landscape. And maybe you don't do this every day. Maybe you do it once a week, and it really infuses you, right? You're receiving through that energy. It's bringing you back into balance. So then how do you learn to value that energy that you are receiving as a gift as something that truly supports you every day, and how can you give back to that energy? The other thing about this energy that it is so earthy, because it's 4 of earth, which is basically earth of earth. And so this really is the elements that we all sit on. I love how it's called power, because this is the energies and the storehouses within us that can never be depleted, because it's what we're made of. This is sort of like our guarantee, the guarantee of living this life. It is like we all start and end and really all exist on the same plane, the exact same plane, the exact same level. And this energy shows us we're all operating at exactly actually the same level. We are all open to receiving exactly the same. No one is privileged in the eyes of Mother Earth. I'm not talking about this paradigm. I'm not spiritually bypassing over the systems of privilege. I'm talking about the energies that she gifts us to live this life is equal in all ways with one another. So how do we attune to that within our lives and see and feel how powerful we truly are when we give and receive those energies in a beautiful flow? So learn to really value what you are giving away and what you are receiving. That's really the succinct message of this energy coming through for us. All right, that's it, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in for this full moon in Cancer, this last lunar cycle of the lunar year. And I do have other readings as well. So I still am offering my hour-long destiny readings, which tune into what cycles you are completing, which karmic cycles you're ready to begin to complete, and how that is playing out in your life, and the messages from your soul of how to bring those cycles to completion, how to move yourself forward in your life. So I still offer that reading. I offer soul guidance readings, which is simply if you have a question you want some clarity on, we draw some cards on that. And I also do dream readings. So if you have a dream that's been coming through repeatedly for yourself, or just one time that it's just, whoa, it just really sat with you, and you like to get a deeper read and understanding of it, we get to meet about that and draw cards on that as well. All right, I will see you middle of the month for our next reading, and for what is it going to be? The new moon in Aquarius. So until then,